What's good? What's good? YouTube, another album review. Uh, this go around, man. This is a personal review right here, man. This is an artist. This is um a elite elite image creator. As far as imagery in his songs, I would say the first rapper, first artist I've ever actually rapped about things that I saw in the daily, on the daily, growing up in the dirty South, man. It, I mean, I'm talking about I grew up in a town where what nothing but like two gas stations, and two soul food spots. And back in the day, those were segregated spots. So you had a white soul food spot, black soul food spot, and gas stations that sold soul food too, and breakfast in the morning if you wanted something real quick. Uh, yeah, man. Shout out to Clayton, Alabama, man. That's the town that raised me, man. No traffic lights type town, and first time hearing Big Crit, it's like damn, he really like country. You know, there's other artists that's trap artists that's from the South, but it's a big difference between Southern artists and dirty Southern artists. You know what I'm saying? Dirty South artists, and that's what Crit was. And you know, you see old schools kind of everywhere, no matter where you are in the South, even if you are from the city. But it's real different when you see it on that most back roads, when you see it on a real county road. And he was the first artist that rapped about those type things and the car culture, and that was like early, man. I was listening. I remember uh it was my basketball coach that put me on the Big Crit. It was that song Dreaming. Shout out Coach Hicks, man. He put me on. That's probably had to be like 2014, whenever that song first came out. He put me on the Big Crit, and I've been listening to him ever since, man. Every tape, every album, and this album brings it around full circle to me. I can't tell you how many times I already heard it. Uh, I was driving. I picked up my sister the other day, and I picked up. No, I dropped her off at her class in the morning, and then in that evening, and I was playing it both times. She's like, "Dang, you listen to this a lot." I was like, "Yeah, it just came out. It's Crit." And yeah, I don't want to, but I just think I had to get that backstory because this is just a very personal review for me. I grew up with him, and like I said, the only artist that really like provided that imagery that really rapped about things I saw growing up in a rural country town as I did. And yeah, and this is Big Crit first album in 3 years, and title is dedicated to Cadelee Biarritz. So, like I always do, we like to talk about the album cover. We all know Crit is a big car guy. Um, Raps about cars, way different than any other artist. You know what I'm saying? And you'll see, as I go through it and you listen to the album yourself, that he don't just make records about cars. He can do that. He's done that before too. But in this one, he's making who can you name that makes songs to their car? I'll wait. I'll wait. And it's still high level music, high level artistry. And this is what this album is. Also got it has like a comedic kind of element to it with Carlos Miller. He's like the DJ throughout it. So you hear him, chiming in every now and then throughout the tape. But that adds another, southern element. I think Carlos from Mississippi too. So you got two Mississippi natives on here. Carlos is a big car person too. I watched his stuff on YouTube. He got a crazy collection. I don't think he even showed it all. But this is every kid's dream. I'm still, saving up for mine. You know what I'm saying? to be able to, get an old school car, fix it up, and just, candy coat it, candy drip it, the whole nine. You know what I'm saying? That's every whether they realize it or not, because everybody turn their heads whenever they see one ride by, real clean. Um, yeah, the album cover. Yeah, it sounds just like it. It sounds the album through and through sound just like it. You got your hype songs, you got your trunk knocking songs, you got your cruise songs, real smooth player song. That's why I had to hop into player crib. You know what I'm saying, for this one. This is special to me, man. This is special, and you see kind of like this like funk type of uh background with like him riding like a wave. You know what I'm saying? Because if you know anything about car culture, they say that car floating. You know what I'm saying? Because you can have it sitting high or just be so smooth, right? Such a smooth ride that it looked like a boat just going across the water. That's what I kind of got out of this, and also it might be like a kind of a slick kind of like he paying homage back to the Catalactica uh album with like the purple, him like riding in on the purple, like he's floating in on a cloud like another planet or something. I don't know, but obviously you got the 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 lady on it, which makes it afro and the big hoop earrings. It just brings all the the playlistic stuff all in one on this one. So yeah, the album cover is fantastic. This is something that I probably real deal going to buy the vinyl for this just off. Uh, I never really had a chance growing up to buy K.R.I.T stuff like this, and it's kind of hard to find. Maybe I just ain't looked hard enough. There's other stuff, but this one for sure, just because of where I'm at in life and just how it looks, I think it's one of his best album covers for sure. But enough about the album cover. When they dig straight into the album itself. All right, so right off the bat, it sets the tone and one of the themes here outside of cars. But it's also the part of the car, but it being like a radio station. So if you know anything about K.R.I.T and his production, he specifically makes his albums for cars, right? How it sounds. He even says before in other interviews in the past that he tests out his albums in this car. I know a lot of artists say that, or a lot of people in the music industry, like it's a known thing that your albums have to pass the car test. But for him, it's specifically like old school cars and like those southern like open roads type of settings, right? So if you have like older people in the South, uh, older uncle, auntie, they still listen to the radio. So this is still part of our culture, or have like a CD player that they use. Um, so there's still, the radio stations in the South. You can still get in the car with an older person. They still got the like their favorite radio show or whatever, their favorite radio station still going, especially gospel, 104.3. You know what I'm saying? They gotta have they gospel stuff on. So it sets it up right away with the intro. Carlos Miller, being the DJ, and it's a radio, type theme. He's the DJ, and they also have other skits throughout it, like a radio station would have. I think it's three skits. Yeah, Girls by Scotty ATL, big grill maker here in the South, and then the CJ Customs commercial. I think it's one more, but yeah, it's a couple skits, so it's not just uh a straight up album. It's kind of like the commercials, and Carlos kind of guides you through it. So that's a nice little touch. I like that for sure. My favorite tracks on here already got them. Start, Old News, The Mileage, I-20. Be playing that nonstop. So far, so good. I gotta add Precious Metal, and we'll get into that as well. In the Rain, Carlos Miller had a freestyle. That was pretty cool. I wasn't really expecting him to rap on this when I heard that he was gonna be on the tape. But yeah, solid 17 tracks, 31 minutes. Uh, it makes I thought it was gonna be super short sounding, but again, when you have rich sounds, verses with depth, you can make an album sound and feel a lot longer than what it really is. And I felt like he did that pretty well because it just at the same time with it being a short album with so much depth, it makes you want to keep listening to it, right? Um, so I'm going to get into my favorite tracks. First one, Old News. Um, it's a trunk knocking song for sure. You can put it on blast. And another thing about its production too, I forgot to add this, is that compared to like a lot of producers, like trap producers that want that loud sound, his production is way cleaner. I feel like it's almost impossible to, I won't say impossible to bust your speakers, but his production is like when you play it up real loud, you still feel the same bass, but the sound is so much cleaner that you can still have a conversation in your car if you got someone with you. You know what I'm saying? Other songs, other trap songs, and it's not really a bad thing because you know it's just different feels, but it's such a cleaner bass than like a typical trap drum. I don't know if y'all hear it. Y'all let me know in the comments, but those songs, Old News, the Mileage, with like a harder bass in them, it is so much cleaner than a lot of other producers. So that's one thing that maybe remember, because that's always been the case for him. You can even go back to Forever is a Mighty Long Time. Same thing. His bass drums are way cleaner than any other producer in the car. In the car now, and that's you have to listen to this in the car a few times. That's what it's meant for. Um, but yeah, his bass drum is way cleaner than a lot of guys. So starts off with that again. In Old News, he's just addressing all the stuff, all the doubt that he's facing in his career. Oh, you from the South? I heard it before. That's Old News. And it's the attitude. He brought an attitude in this one that is like, out of all the stuff y'all been saying, Southern artists is hard to break. Don't nobody want to listen to no country music like that, or your accent ain't gonna be good for mainstream play. All the stuff he's heard, and it's like, and where he's at now, it's like, you still saying it? You can't say it now. Like, what can you say now? So that's like the attitude he brought in Old News, and that's on repeat as well. Um, next track, next track, one of my favorite tracks is the Mileage. Uh, Another car theme song. Uh, he has some great lines in this one. He has some great lines in this one. Uh, it's like he was pretty much getting that. Don't be stunting at the wrong places. I pull up the gas stations and so you see a crazy car come through and everybody like, oh shit, and you see a couple niggas hating. You see a couple niggas just hating that they came through on an old school that's probably was beat the hell up a year ago, and now you come and it's clean, rims, everything set, trunk knocking, everything. And you see niggas at the gas stations hating, right? So it's a the hate can be just some murmurings, or the hate can turn into like you said, someone pulling at your door. Uh, uh, that's kind of part of it. It is a stunt in the South, and it's the ultimate flex. I say, old school car probably one, and two probably grills. If you have a full fledged, all 32, gold out, slugged out, iced out, those probably the top two things in the South that like are the biggest flexes you can have. And what I'm saying, if you in the wrong spot, it could get you heamed up. So he has some nice bars dealing with those type of situations. But yeah, another great song, The Mileage. And not to say that high def ain't good or gotta do it that it's not good, because every time I turn on any of these songs, I like, damn, I gotta listen to the whole thing again. But those are just my favorites. I'm going to just review my favorites, but the whole album is really good to me. Like I said, I might be biased. I'm gonna go and get the rating now. You know what I'm saying? I'm only on the second track. I'm gonna get my rating now. It's 10 out of 10 to me. I know that's biased, but this is just me growing up with them, and it is a very personal thing to me. I gotta hit up one of his shows soon. I know he gonna have one in Atlanta, but yeah, I don't want to be too long with on this one. But yeah, The Mileage. Yeah, it's just and the one line he had, I will say this one line he had was really good. He said every space ain't meant for staying just because the ticket low. And some spots it just ain't the place to be when you have something that makes you stick out like a sore thumb. And talk about his whip. So all right, I'm gonna go ahead and go to the next favorite track. Oh, I forgot to highlight "Not in the Whip." So "Not in the Whip" is also a great song. And it's pretty much saying he was pretty much saying what I got out of it was his car is like a sanctuary, right? So I don't want to hear about all these politics, all the problems of the world. I don't want to hear all that. I'm in my whip. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear about your about your work day, or you know what I'm saying, about how it went well or how it went bad. I'm just I'm just in the whip. You know what I'm saying? Uh, and he said, "What's the use anyway? They might fuck off and press the button. Who needs a recap when they go for a drive? It's already hard enough just staying alive." So he just saying, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm in a car right now. I'm in a wheel. I'm just cruising. I'm trying to have a good time. I'm trying to go out, trying to holler at some women or something like that. And I don't want to hear about the problems in the world. It's already hard enough. So, and then at the same time, he did drop some gems in there. I don't want to tell you those lines. You got to go listen to it for yourself. But Not the Whip, another great one. And it's real. Sometimes you just after a work day or just starting your day, you don't want to be hearing about a bunch of other problems that really might not ain't got nothing to do with you. Because either way, we still gonna party, we still gonna ride clean, and that was just that one. And it's a you might think it's like a very uh simple uh theme or whatever, but talking about cars are a very typical thing for a rapper to talk about cars, but no one raps about cars at this high level of artistry like K.R.I.T do. You can't find nobody. Some people might even throw in Currency, but mm-mm. Currency, I like him too. He's my guy, but he don't rap about cars at this level. Like strictly just rapping about cars, nah, it ain't close. It ain't close. All right, so I'm gonna go down to the next one. I-20, I-20. Now at track 9, right? This is when the album makes a big shift to me. Track 9 makes it. This album makes a really big shift, as into getting deeper into like the actual title of the album, to where he's actually making songs to his car. He's making songs to Cadillac. I mean Cadelee Biarritz. Excuse me. He even says in at the end of this song, he even says the full name. I believe it's like, yeah, 20 year dedicated. He was like, yeah, this is dedicated to Cadelee Eleanor Biarritz. And it's like, man, that's some old school stuff right there, man. If you got an uncle, no matter if his car was an old school, he had a truck, they named their car after a woman, or just gave their car a woman name. Um, it's an old school thing. I need to make a name for my car, even though I ain't got no old school. But it's just it's just part of the culture anyway. Um, but yeah, after track 9, it starts to get some more of a, like, he's making love songs to his car. Uh, it's a it makes a big shift, but then he throws in the Ever Living Sub Knocker song to kind of break it up a little bit. Throwing that trunk song, but then it goes right back to it. Uh, for like these 3 tracks right here, So Far Good, Precious Metal, and In the Rain, beautiful. Like, this is what separates him from artists that rap about cars, or just rappers just having like a car line or two in their songs or on their albums. Uh, this is real poetry right here. Like, this is just real deal poetry about like writing a song to your car, like as if it's a woman itself. You know what I'm saying? Uh, and I got some notes about that. Yeah, the Everlasting Sub Knocker. Oh, well, first let me go back to I-20. I-20 and Elevated, very smooth songs. like I said before, it goes into that next kind of, it kind of shifts. You know, have kind of your trunk songs in the beginning, kind of heading it off, and then it goes into those two very good songs as well. And then breaks it up a little bit with the Ever Living Sub Knocker. Got Carlos on there again, so he comes back in, gives his piece. Another skit, and then it goes into like the love songs of the tape, like more like love songs about, especially In the Rain, um, talking about the rain coming down on this car. Precious Metal, the hook on Precious Metal is, ooh, we had me like like laughing like a mad scientist, man, because you just don't hear them when making songs to their car, not about their car, but to their car. And this stretch, this is probably the best stretch on the tape right here for sure. And then it just flows effortlessly to Carlos Miller freestyle. And if you watch the 85 South show, 80, oh damn, can you talk today? 85 South show, uh for years. I mean, I'm talking about since probably since 2016, 15. You always saw him on Wild 'N Out. You knew, everyone knows how talented of a person he is, comedy, and then he hits that he can rap. You know what I'm saying? And then he really shows it on here. He freestyles all the time at the shows, on his podcast. So this ain't nothing new for us at all. And this is another reason too why you have to listen to it in the car, just based off just freestyle. It's not even a big moment on the tape, but the bass line in here, you might not be able to hear it that well with headphones, but in your car you're gonna hear it, and it's kind of like, whoa, he really, spitting some real stuff right here. Even though it's just him just being Los, you know what I mean? But that was just a nice touch to the album. Uh, and then he ends it off, with some old school Texas legends, Paul Wall, Slim Thug, end it off. It just rounds it out very well. And when you listen to this straight through, you're gonna be hype, you're gonna be chill. But it's gonna sound really good in the car, man. It's no other tape right now that I've listened to this whole year that I can say look like sounds just this good in the car. Um, you know what I'm saying? You can stunt with some of these songs in here. You can reflect with some of the songs in here while you're driving, and it rounds it out perfectly. It rounds it out perfectly. Uh, Cadelee, Biarritz, album by Big K.R.I.T. Go get it. Go listen to it. I know for sure when it drops on vinyl, I'll be playing it in the crib. uh, it's just a great album, man. And I ain't gonna lie, the first time I listened to it, I was like, damn, this kind of reminds me, you know, back when I first heard K.R.I.T, right? And I'm glad he kind of went back to this, because he had to prove himself a lot, especially with Forever is a Mighty Long Time, is that he can make some real songs, even though we know that as real K.R.I.T fans. But he's trying to, I think at that point, from like 2017, and he had a couple albums that wasn't, car themed, that were still good to me, still real good to me. But he was still, I felt like he was trying to prove himself to be, I'm an artist. I'm not just no southern car rapper. Uh, and I think this is right here is like the growth of that, of all that, from Cadillactica, and then proving that I can make, artistry songs, real artistry songs. Uh, and it was 3 years since he dropped the album, so I think this is a combination of all of that in one. Uh, it's not just the same thing. So if you like a big fan of Cadillactica, if you're a big fan of Forever's Mighty Long Time, it's not gonna give you that. It's gonna give you that same feel, but you're not gonna be like, dang, K.R.I.T really ain't grown. Like, nah, you're gonna hear the growth in this for sure. You're gonna hear the growth in this. But for sure, for me, I know I'm biased. I know, somebody from up north might not get it. Somebody out west might not get it. But this is a 10 out of 10, hands down. Um, hands down for me. For sure gonna be playing in the car today. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But that's all I got. This is a very, shorter one compared to what I've done before, but it is what it is. Again, go get this dedicated to Cadelee Biarritz by the one and only Big King Remembered in Time.